Hi everyone. So you are with Zoe and with Eric. We still really don't have any idea what we're doing here, but we are called. Actually, something that came beautifully aware for me this week was that this is actually a really lovely thing that we're doing for our relationship.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting to know each other or be with each other in this way is kind of really sweet. But first and foremost, we're going to call in the light. Honey, do you want to do that this morning?
Sure. All right. So, beloved one, we call forward this love, light, and sound of the highest, and we open ourselves to the truth that is within us. And we listen to that voice that knows who we are, the true self, that soul, and we let it love us and let it guide us. We let go of anything that is not it or that is not serving us. Any limitations, any conditions, any contractions, any disease, any negativity, judgments, karma, etc., etc. We just let it all go and know that we don't have to carry that burden. And we just come present into what is, into this breath, into this peace, this simpleness of living, of being. We know that we don't have to be anybody. We don't have to do anything to be loved, to be worthy, to be who we are. And we just ask for any guidance, any healing, lifting, whatever's for us in this moment, that we can receive blessings that are already present as best as we can allow. We can open our hearts even more this day, love even more, and that we can connect with one another and see that we're all doing the best we can here on this planet, in this life. And so it is.
And so it is. Alrighty. So again, I really call everyone forward into showing up. If you're watching this either live right now or via the recording, that rather taking this as information or as our experiences, we'll definitely do our best to share from our experience. But the only way we ever really grow or heal or get something out of something is if we actually show up for our own experience. So as this relates to you, I really encourage you to apply it to your own life and just to be vulnerable and honest with yourself in terms of that. So I never anticipated that these lovely little Facebook shares would be an opportunity for me to answer questions to my community, but that is definitely what has organically been happening. So I am just a huge fan of really being aware of what's going on in my universe and the energy that's coming to me, and how do I really take advantage of that synchronicity that that God is bringing me. And so I received a beautiful email from Marcela, and I want to read it, and I just want to show up however we do and speak to our own experience. Again, it is no small question, and I do want to say first and foremost, right, we're going to do our best to shine some light on this question, to more talk about how we have lived this question, and not that we have the answer. What I love about the Allowing Love program and about the work that I do is that it truly is about letting go of needing an answer or a clear, perfect blueprint for our life, but about showing up consistently inwards to where all of our answers live, to where our love, just that place of inner knowing does reside. And it's not going to work for me to show up once a year and download, this is what my year will look like. What works for me is to do it on a very consistent, even daily basis, because it is my experience that Spirit downloads our life in much smaller chunks, much smaller than a year plan of what we have to follow through on. So Marcela's beautiful question is, I want to know, should I come back to my old job that gave me experiences that I did not like at all, but so I can plan safely my career with enough money and enough time? Or should I go after what I want, despite feeling scared, insecure, unprepared, and unsafe? And she says in brackets, because I'm living out of my savings in my dad's house. PS, and I think this PS is also a big part of this, I always lived without making any plans, just living in the moment and being impulsive with my money and my life. So when I received this question from Marcela, I was just really aware of my own version of this. I was only ever an employee, and I grew up in I only knew employees. I didn't know anyone that took that really crazy financial risk of making their own business. And I definitely wasn't brought up in this kind of culture that I think we are now, where it's like, hey, it may actually work. Actually, it is going to be the best thing for your life if you find out what you love, not what makes a lot of money or what you're good at, but what you love, and dive head first into that. Do everything that you can to really allow that to be how you live this life. And so I want to, there is so much that I could share in this moment. So I'll just speak from my personal experience about being aware as I read your question, Marcela, and through knowing you a little, that you do have a clear calling inside for what your soul is asking and for what you love, and really what is the big, expansive, just really fucking scary, but expansive, soul-led guidance. And I was aware of the same. I got to a point where I wasn't expanding or enjoying my job as much as I loved it in some ways. And I actually showed up every morning, and this is how the Allowing.Love program started. I wanted to find my next thing. And I knew that me sitting down at a desk and mentally going over all my options was just going to put my ego and the part of me that truly does just want to achieve and impress other people. I'm really good at my limited self is really good at just working really hard to make others love me. That definitely, I reckon, would be my biggest theme throughout my life until I was about 20. And so for me, really being able to sit down and go inside and really ask, right, what do I want? And I talk with clients about this a lot, right? This whole question of what do I want? And I think when we've created a life where we, it's kind of on autopilot, right? We're no longer 5 years old and asking, what do we want to be, right? Do we want to be a ballerina? Do we want to be a doctor, right? We're kind of on this very limited autopilot life. And so to really ask, what do I want, right? If I had all the time and money in the world, if I really had no limitation, if I wasn't limited by my ego and by this false perception of this physical level, what would I want? And I really started to download this beautiful business, this beautiful idea of me sharing my experiences and supporting people in their own spiritual inner awareness and in healing emotionally, because really that's what I guess is my biggest gift. I feel on this planet, just my ability to really go into the emotional challenge and to really work that into our healing and our transformation. I hope you guys can hear the rain. We so need it here in LA. It's quite cold here, hence the fire as well. So jump in at any point, honey, but I feel a little bit like I'm rambling, so what I'm going to do is just really just center for a second. And so I got this super clear calling to do coaching, and I judged the fuck out of it. I really judged, like, LA doesn't need another coach. I wasn't aware of it, but I had these judgments. I looked down on the profession of coaching. There was no way I was going to tell other people how to live their lives. And yet, as I did this process of continuing to check inside, continuing to dialogue inside, to continue to do what now I call the Allowing.Love program, which is a free 5-step program, I really became aware of this clearer call to do it. And I also began to download exactly how it was given to me to grow and expand me, right? And I do really think that my ability to show up so consistently and not just be aware of what I wanted, but I really dialogued with spirit, and I received, well, why is this dream being given to me? How is it going to grow me? How is it going to expand me? And I really began to see how a lot of my limitations, a lot of me playing small, playing stuck, right, living my life to actually just share someone else's voice, share someone else's dreams, right? That was no longer working for me. And this particular dream was more than me creating a business. It was really a very clear vehicle to get me to be bold and brave enough to share my voice, my life, my experiences, what God gave me inside of me, and began to really sweetly and just sweetly nudge me to share it. And I am so grateful that I did that so frequently, such that I really got ballsy in terms of my clarity. And so I was working full-time, and I actually resigned from my full-time job before I had one paid client. I look back on that now and I still go, how the fuck did I do that? I don't know. But I know it has something to do with how consistently I was showing up for spirit, and really just feeling like, I don't want to do coaching. This isn't something of my life, but God is asking me to do this. And as I read your email, Marcela, I could be completely off, but I do get a sense that there is something inside of you that's calling you in to this very scary, very insecure, very unprepared and unsafe calling to really follow your heart and do what you want to do. So I did that very consistently, and I think taking really big risks as much as we can. I do feel like spirit looked at me and went, wow, she's trusting us, right? She's really putting her body on the line. So we're going to show up for her as well. And I do think the success that I've had, and I'm making this up, but I do am aware in some way that the success that I've had is in some way due to the ridiculous, irrational risks I've been able to take. Because I do believe, right, if we're trying to fly, running along the ground and flapping our wings and really making a go of it, we're probably not going to learn how to fly and really find great success. But if we do get to that precipice and we go like, yep, fuck, I'm going to do this, right? In order to do my coaching practice, I need to quit. I need to free up my time. I'm going to jump off the edge. And maybe the only way we truly learn, if we have wings, if we can succeed, if we do have everything in us to really fly and get to do what we love, is to jump off. And, you know, there are many beautiful quotes that talk about, that I use all the time, that we do find our wings on the way down, right? We don't find them before we jump off that cliff. The only other one thing that's really present to share before because you are a master of doing what you love. I think that's why I contracted to come into this life with him, because this wasn't natural to me actually before our relationship. But was when I made that decision, I never related to anxiety, and I almost thought it was bullshit. And these idea of panic attacks, I'm sure they were real, right? But I just never related to anxiety and like full-blown panic attack before this. And for anyone that really is going through moments of anxiety and panic attacks, for me and my own experience, I just know that it is a function of we're very close to being called to let go of something that has been an illusionary security, and that we're pretty close to flying. Right? And we may stay very close to the edge our whole life and really suffer that anxiety our whole life. But in my experience, that anxiety was my old stories of I'm not going to be taken care of. And I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and there was a lot of financial instability in my life, and not in terms of conscious thoughts, but this small little Zoe started to come up into my consciousness. And I remember twice driving into my work. I was still working, I'd resigned, and I just pulled over because the panic attack was so bad. And because of the healing work that I do, I really knew that there was some part in me. No, it's not who I am. It's not my soul. I could easily go, oh, they're emotions. That's just a panic attack. I don't want to listen to that or give a voice to that. I'm going to rise above and know that everything's perfect and everything's beautiful, right? I could have done that, but when our emotions are really charged and we're really like out of balance, for me it is so on point to slow down and to really allow our emotions to be fully 100% present, right? So I pulled over and I really gave this feeling of voice, right? And a panic attack doesn't have conscious words to begin with. It's just like, right? I was just scared, but I just continued to be with that energy of like, it's not going to be okay. I'm going to fail. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And I had the courage to continue to follow, well, what are you afraid of? Right? Well, I'm not going to make any money, right? I'm going to be a laughing stock. Everyone's not going to love me. And I can't remember exactly what all those judgments I tracked down into, but I do remember getting to a place where I knew that, and may sound irrational, and again, this is about an experience. It's not about the information. It's just about an experience that I had of where I knew that even if I got to a point that I made no money, and even if my irrational fears were right, that everyone left me, all my friends walked out on me, everyone thought I was a loser, and everyone left me, right? I really went to that place where I could feel that just everything's failed, everything's terrible, and I'm on the street, and I've got nothing, and no one wants to give me their couch because they're embarrassed by me, right? And I really got to that place to be with me in that moment. And not only did I have this kind of like a flat line of like, I could breathe out, but I had this incredible experience of like, yes, that could happen, and I'm going to be okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. Like, I don't know what your spiritual belief systems are, but it was really powerful for me to feel that I'm still going to love me, that this beautiful spirit, this energy is still going to love me, that I'm actually going to be okay. So if I'm going to stop doing what I love and take this massive risk just because I'm afraid of being homeless and not having any friends, and I get how massive that is, but there are thoughts. It's another one thing to really go into that feeling and allow your small children inside to actually contemplate going there. Because in my experience, when we do have the guts to go there energetically, emotionally, that energy, that emotion, that energy and motion does move through, and we do get to a point where there is nothing there. It's like, I'd be okay. I'm actually not that afraid of that. And, you know, I'm an incredibly confident person, so I never thought that would happen, right? But that's not the point. I really had to experientially give this energy that for me mostly comes in at my stomach. And for me, I did that a couple of times, and then I did not have the anxiety. I never had those panic attacks again, because for whatever reason, I feel like that small little Zoe that was asking to really get a new story. And I want to relate that to kind of your PS, Marcela, because we all have our stories, right? For me, one of the biggest story that I'm letting go of this lifetime is that I'm going to be abandoned and no one loves me. So I better work really hard, right, to be impressive and to work hard and to take care of everyone else first. Because if I don't, if there aren't people around to love me, then I'm not going to be okay. And so...
Sorry, our dog's hitting the window, so I'm just trying to tell him not to. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's able to get that communication from you in that way, but I hear
My
you.
intention is strong.
Yes, yes. So this beautiful PS, Marcela, I really hear is you very clearly wanting to let go of your old stories, right? And I get that there is a lens through which you're looking through your life, right? That you've just been impulsive and somehow not made good use of your money in your life. But your ability to live in this present moment is not the problem. It's a profound gift, and it's incredibly beautiful. And just whatever you're feeling in terms of you being impulsive, and I'm saying the word irresponsible. You're not writing it, but there may be something that I'm reading in between the lines. So if there's any story of that, I'd really encourage you to feel this part, and maybe also be aware if there is some experiences from early childhood that do come up. Because for me, as I really went through this kind of panic attack experience, right, having my dad leave at 3, mum die at 14, and really not knowing, right, if I was going to be financially taken care of, that was in there. So I had to tell beautiful little Zoe, you know, yes, right, I see you, I hear you, I've got you, right? That was then, right? But this is now. We can rewrite an incredible new ending to this story, and we don't have to continue to live that to live those unconscious misbeliefs, those untruths about who we are.
I guess something from my experience is if you can get really clear of how important it is, your heartfelt dream is more important than the security. And if you can keep focused on that clarity. So for me, if I can get clear every morning that my music, to share my music, is more important than whatever else I might be distracted by needing to, you know, write pop songs for other people and bring in more money and spend more time on that. So if I can connect with the truth and the clarity that this in fact is more important to me than this, and that how powerful that is, and that I'm willing to pay the price to go after what is so important to me, what is so present in my heart, then to me it gets to be a much easier choice to move forward on. But the thing is, I have to remind myself. So I either have to connect with my soul, my heart, that is guiding me, that is giving me the message of what is my dream, and that this is the biggest thing I could ever imagine, or not bigger than I can imagine. I don't know even what God has planned for me, but this is what I'm being called to do. And so there's a willingness of faith to take that step and trust that. And the more we do that, the stronger we get in terms of that muscle of willingness based on an unknown, right? And for me and Zoe, like, I'm very supportive of her and her career and my career. And she actually just stopped doing some work for a client that was bringing in a lot of money. That was the only thing that wasn't her coaching. And, you know, she was worried about, you know, bringing enough money every month. And like, I keep telling her, like, even if we had to live in like, you know, a 1-bedroom apartment, even a studio, whatever it is, right? We could make it work because the loving's present. And just like I don't know, I just know that we'll be okay. And I think that's another thing. If you can get to that knowing that you're going to be okay, right? And you did mention you're living with a family member. So to me, that sounds like, you know, you have a roof, you're okay, you're taken care of, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about that. And I think it's even more to honor yourself for taking that risk and that jump. And it reminds me of entrepreneurs today. Like, there, you know, so many entrepreneurs, business owners that have been successful have gone through bankruptcy multiple times, whatever it is. Anyway, that's just whatever, facts and figures. But if you can get clear on the truth and the power of your dream and keep connecting with that more and more, especially when this doubt comes up or the limitation, the fear comes up, then the more power to you. That's all. I don't know what else to say if there's anything else in the question, but.
Well, what's also really coming present for me, Marcela, is there is a responsibility that we have, in my experience, to really do whatever we can to fully show up to this present moment, to really like allow those feelings, those fears, or whatever that comes up. Because if we're not willing to be really present and all in into this experience, there may be some beautiful intuition, a beautiful next energy that's waiting underneath that in terms of something that you very practically need, right? So the thing that I want to just be clear about is that I don't really support anyone in sticking their head in the sand and going, this is my dream and I'm going to jump off the cliff, right? I do have complete faith that if we are continuing to show up within and we're willing to be present with our challenges, we're willing to be present with our fears, with our emotions, with that energy that is coming up to be healed, right? These are our blocks. The energy that comes up that looks like our challenge or our fear or our sadness, or they're coming up to be cleared. And if we're continually ignoring, right, just not looking at that, we fucking shit scared, right? If we're not really willing to look at that, embrace that, and actually really reframe those judgments. And so in my experience, really allow, and I have a 9-step process, right? I sometimes feel like, well, I keep on talking about this transforming these fears into like letting go of the judgment and really releasing that energy, but it is quite a complicated process. So I do have a 9-step process that I've shared with clients in the past, and I'm really happy to share it on the bottom of this video. But what's really important to me about really allowing this fear and just allowing it to work through our consciousness is that if we're not being completely present, we may miss some really important information, like do this training, right? Like maybe you need some more education. Maybe you need some support, right? Maybe God is trying to nudge you in a particular direction. So if you really feel this dream, right, but you think that you can stick your head in the sand and put the blinders on and just jump off that cliff, well, good luck. Right? It's a process of continually being present, continuing to show up for yourself. So definitely every morning, right, being in that process that I call allowing our love, allowing our soul, allowing our truth, doing whatever we need to get still, open, unconditionally loving, right? Soul, still, open, unconditionally loving. If you don't already have a spiritual practice, that can really just support us into a space of being connected. So do that consistently. But allowing love is also about allowing our humanity, right? Allowing us to be human, allowing us to have fears, allowing us to have emotions, because in my experience, there is no quicker or clearer doorway into releasing the unconscious blocks that we have other than our emotions. If I can truly give myself permission to feel and to speak from the wounded 3-year-old that's freaking out right now, it will usually lead me to an experience that's locked and trying to get out, and to judgments, right? I'm not going to be okay if mom and dad leave. I'm not going to be taken care of. I'm not going to have enough money, right? Some of these really core misbeliefs, and then we have an opportunity to really pick up that beautiful 3-year-old Zoe and to really let them know that we've got them, we love them, and to do the self-forgiveness, the reworking, that I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I'm not going to be taken care of. Right? And I can't tell you how many times I've said that one, and probably how many times I will continue to say that one, because it's just a core karma for me. I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I'm not always going to be completely taken care of. And I do encourage anyone that's watching that's kind of intrigued about this to download the Allowing Love meditation, because it does walk you through the power of self-forgiveness, then really receiving your truth, which is a really big part of that. But that's really what's clear and present to share about that. I have no clear specifics of your information of Marcela, so the last thing I'm here to do is to tell you what to do. But I really want to encourage you to continue to trust yourself, right? Just trust yourself. My spiritual teacher, John Roger, used to have a little sticky on his mirror, and this is I've heard this third hand, so I cannot verify the accuracy of this, but it was something to the effect of, you can trust the voice inside, you can trust yourself within, you can trust you, right? And if he, right, one of the most spiritually connected people on the planet, needed a little bit of reminding, a little bit of loving that yeah, right, you have this voice, you have these callings, you have these wants, these dreams, these clear callings forward. You can trust them, right? But trusting them is also a call to be intimate with spirit and intimate with ourselves. So that's a daily, minute by minute, moment by moment practice of being really present with ourselves, both with our intuition, letting ourselves rise and receive that information, but in my experience, also allowing our fears and our humanity be present, be seen, be heard, and actually be transformed in our own loving of that experience, such that we can release these unconscious blocks that are holding us back from really showing up for what we're called into, for really what the universe is saying. Yeah, I want you to do this. You're going to get so much out of this, and we have your back. It's scary, but we have your back.
I just want to add real quick. Like it can be so easy to go into lack of, I don't, like, how am I going to do this without having a normal job that's bringing in money that sounds like you don't like the experience of that job. And I would just say there's a way you can look at it that you have such abundance in your life that you can not do that. You can leave that job and focus on your heartfelt dream and not be living on the street. Like the abundance to be able to go for your dream and be taken care of, right? Because a lot of us, we think of being taken care of like, oh, we need, some people have different levels. Like taking care of is having a really nice car and a really nice house. And it's like, really, in essence, being taken care of is being alive in a sense, as long as we're alive, right? Of course, we like to add, shelter, food that helps. But you have such abundance in your life that you can go for this dream. And I think that's a wonderful thing to focus on and be grateful for. And I need to remind myself every day of how amazing it is that I get to do music and share that. And that, yeah, it's just a great gift. So.
Yeah. And a final plug for the Allowing Love meditation, because that truly does speak to the fifth step in terms of, yeah, you know, I'm here to fully support myself and everyone in their dreams and what they're aware of in terms of what's next. But the fifth step of the Allowing Love program is to live with heart wide open. And that step really is anchored in how can you be completely grateful and feel the 100% complete abundance of right now. Because yes, I want more. I'm called into a lot of beautiful things. My beautiful dream of a baby continues to come present, right? But it is very easy for me, because I do this every single morning. It's very easy for me to connect into the gratitude that I am grateful for my life just as it is right now, right? The love, the people, the babies, the fur babies, the love, the connection, the family that I have right now, or the money that I have right now, or the house that I have right now. And it's a skill, but I do not think that there is a better springboard or a better vibration, a better energy to live in, other than I'm so grateful. Everything's perfect. Everything's full, abundant, complete, just as it is right now. It's perfect. And it sounds mentally paradoxical, but I do not believe there is a better springboard or a better way to allow to receive what's next. Right? In some ways I'm making this bit up, but I often think of it's like God's looking down in some way going, oh wow, that they totally get it, right? That they're completely grateful. They're completely in alignment with how beautiful everything is right now, right? Instead of feeling the lack or the challenge or looking at what's wrong. Great. So now they're worthy of what's next. Now they get it, right? Now we can give them the next level to really handle and be responsible for. So I can't encourage everyone enough into, taking some moments throughout the day, at least once a day, to be profoundly grateful for everything in your life, just as it is, because it is perfect. And I don't want to go into the philosophical.
So thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for asking the question.
Yeah, thank you, Marcela, and just so much love and light to you. And I do also just want to congratulate you on your courage for clearly chasing your dreams, right? We all get to points where we get to the next level, right? And so I want to really
we support you.
Yeah, congratulate and celebrate and honor you for how fully you have, number one, been clear of what that is, but you've taken a lot of steps. I know you've taken so many steps towards allowing that, and I just encourage you to keep going. And I encourage you to continue to ask for help and to receive support, because no one achieves anything alone. And the more that you do get help from your friends or from whatever support is clear and present inside of you, more will be opened in terms of your ability to move forward and really allow what's next. Alrighty, guys, love you so much. We will see you next Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Every week.
Yes, love you guys. See you then.